A Chinese Ghost Story 2 was playing at this art house theater. They played all 3 films, so I watched all 3, the first being a MovieFiendz favorite. I have seen all these before, but it's been quite a while. So watching this one, A Chinese Ghost Story 2 is a direct continuation of the first film. Ling is still the traveling scholar, and he's wandering around. However, he gets grabbed by one of those rambunctious bounty hunters in the first film. Maybe not the same people, but types where they just grab people. He's imprisoned and mistaken for a convict, so he gets thrown into prison, where he meets an old man who's a bit of a kook, and he's been there for so long that he starts to forget who he is until the old man helps him escape, and then he basically adopts by accident, he adopts the identity of the old man, and he bumps into a group of rebels, and they want to free their father, and one of them looks a lot like Siu-Sin from the first film. However, she's not. She's just a regular woman who's got a sister played by Michelle Reese. You know, so it's like a whole new bunch of stuff going on, different plot. They also throw in Jackie Chung as Chi-Chua. He's basically the replacement of the Taoist. I think Jackie Chung, yeah, is in this movie, but he's definitely not the noble. He basically has his horse stolen by Ling, and then he sort of tags along and just sort of, he can travel underground, and he's got cool powers and stuff like that. But basically, this sequel adopts the Hollywood sort of method of, it's the same thing but different. You know, it's bigger. You know, there's a couple of different creatures. They have this large monster creature that tears people apart. It shows up in not Orchid Temple. It's like a place where it's a pavilion where the rebels are trying to set up traps so they can ambush a convoy that has the girl's father. So that's why they're hanging out there, but the creature starts getting in the way. And then there's this noble fighter, a general who is escorting the prisoner because there's a lot of corruption in the capital. The king or the emperor basically is being like manipulated by different people, and we find out why later. And it's a very convoluted kind of like, you know, a little bit of this and that. Less romance this time around and more action, really. It's like the monster, you know, takes the bulk of the middle of the film, and then they introduce the new villain at the end of the film. And then they have this big battle, and it gets really out of control, and with transformations and shooting and magic. And then they go back to Orchid Temple, and they find the old man, and he helps them, and it's a big bombastic sort of sequel that's definitely not into the romance, but they do have some of it there. And you know what? Everyone's there from the first film that you like, and then they introduce Michelle Reese's sister character and Jackie Chung, who's very funny. So it's like adding more to a formula, new villains, new things going on, more world building. It's definitely less of a ghost story and more of a we're just running around fighting villains and stuff, and it's still fun, you know, because of the cast does a good job. So it's a very different vibe from the first film, but it has the action and the world building and the fun to make it an enjoyable watch. So I give A Chinese Ghost Story 2 a 7 out of 10.